Is everybody here? It's good. First question first. We have really big needs. Do someone has scissors?
Scissors
Yeah?
or knives?
No, I need scissors.
What about two knives?
No, we need scissors. No? Nobody? Like small, yeah, small is better than nothing. Perfect. Really nice, yeah. Perfect. Just after I talk, not to talk. This afternoon we will have workshops and debates. I don't know if you go on Discord on the main channel, you have a link to all the workshops. We try to make a small introduction to it, so you can choose what you have to know, and is written also, is that we have 3 types of workshop at each hours. It lasts 1 hour and a half each. And the debates are the main proposition we will have to discuss in order to vote them on Saturday. For example, the contribution system, we had an online GA a few months ago about it. We made big, like the big lines, and now we have to define the smallest one. We have also needs on the commercial capture clients, especially in France for now, because we are trying something. But it's a model that we can replicate in each country. So we need to talk a lot about it. And so this is a type of debates we will have for the next 2 days. And we have also workshops that is a smaller group, talking about how we can do stuff like, for example, the grant system that Remy and Dorita will be leading. The idea is to talk about how we can, CoopCycle can help writing grants for people that don't know how to do it, that don't know where to find them, etc. And the other type of workshop we will have will be dev workshop, about the software, about the needs of everyone, about the new features. For example, the needs on app and web dispatch, led by Aywaille and Paul, I think.
You want me to explain?
Huh?
You want me to explain now?
No, after. So we made small introduction. You have the name of the person that will lead the workshop. So if you have questions before that happen, to choose where you want to go, just feel free to ask before and don't wait the last moment to do it. The debates will be translated in Spanish and in French for sure, with the 2 lovely guys we have, Alejandro and Arthur. But for the workshops, we are still as a smaller group, we can just gather all together to find people to translate. It will be more comfy places. So we will try to find a way so that everybody can understand everything and participate. And we also have one major debate tomorrow that Aywaille can cover it for a few words.
Okay, so we are going to, one of the workshops is going to be the gender perspective workshop protocol or whatever that we want to implement in CoopCycle. So we are going to do this 2 parts. The first one is going to be a meeting of women and non-binary people. So at which time?
Like for noon, for the break.
For noon, but when?
At noon, no?
At noon? No.
Yeah.
Okay,
no?
so in 1 hour at noon. So this is going to be a non-mixed group, and then it will be tomorrow another mixed group where we can all participate to create this protocol. So in 1 hour, all the women and non-binary people can meet here if they want to participate.
At lunchtime,
At
after Paul that
This
session.
needs to be done in 1 hour.
No, yeah, at lunchtime,
At lunchtime,
when it's
yeah.
a break, then you will have this meeting. So yeah, we can talk about it.
Good to go?
And I'm good. Thank you, everyone. Let's see. Where's my food? C'est bon pour les enregistrements? Les enregistrements, oui.
Dodi, can you put an alarm for 11:50?
11:50?
I'm not actually sure if it, this is new technology. I'm not sure if it was actually. All right. Let's see if this works. All right, design process. There's a longer and better presentation about this given by the other Paul later, and I saw the PowerPoint already, and it's very interesting. I'm just going to give a very quick overview. So like I was saying, the way you make good anything, really, is first you start by discovery, which is when, in our case, we have here, it's called QA co-ops. QA is a process, question answer, to understand things. So there are some cooperatives where I have people where I'll call them and we'll make a little meeting and I'll be like, tell me about dispatch. And now it's not my opinion as Paul who does dispatch. My job is to learn how people are using the dispatch. We write everything down, we take videos, and we share that with the team. So this is maybe just one phone call with Thomas. This is when we have a meeting online with multiple people. And this is when we already know some things we have to do pretty well, so we just sort of move fast on it. In theory, if we were doing this well, what we want is that this becomes an open debate. Right now, we're doing stuff that a lot of it's relatively concrete what we want to do. We want to have all of the income in a table so I know how to make an invoice. Like, it's kind of hard to do that too badly. So we can move relatively fast. But especially if we want to start innovating, the debate part's really important, where everyone in the collective says their opinion about this thing we want to build. What is it like? What do we need? What seems interesting? The next step is design. So once we have a good understanding of the needs, what are people doing on their own to fix the problem? What are some new ideas we have? We turn those into designs. And that means you literally draw a thing. There's a screen, and we draw what we want it to look like. Here's a button, the button does this. And this is a process, it's all in Spanish. Well, the next thing we have to do and make a design for is this thing. The next would be planning. This is surprisingly important. This is where we take the designs and the knowledge about what we want to build, and we go and we sit down with programmers and engineers in a meeting, and we explain it. Say, we talked to people, they said they need this stuff over here. We took that, we made this drawing. What do you think? And sometimes they'll be like, oh God, please, no, don't do that. That's really, oh no, that's going to break everything. What if we did it like this? How about that? Okay, we'll like rethink it up. Or they say, oh yeah, that's super easy. In fact, we could do this easier. Like, what if we do this? Like, and it's a collaborative moment where we bring together the things like servers and coding and stuff that I don't understand very well with the user needs and the design we made that's a drawing. And we put that into a plan. So if we were doing things well in CoopCycle, we would have one person who's a project manager. Their job is to be leading the engineers and make sure, for example, that what we're about to do doesn't break everything in the service. And then there would be a product owner, who would be someone who is the main translator with the cooperatives about what the needs are and what direction to go in. Right now, I'm just doing both of those things. These are designers, and these would be programmers. And that's where we make the plan, and it makes a GitHub thing. Everything we do is in GitHub. all of the code of CoopCycle is written in GitHub. If you want, you can go and you can look at it. And I looked at it. I don't understand it. But it's there. It's really big. So what we do is we make a thing that says invoicing feature thing. And then thing number 1, make a table that sums the amount of the month. 2, have a button to print an invoice. 3, database management stuff. We need to get all the information about the invoicing in a structure, in a way. We have all these boom, 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 boom. And that's the plan. We can assign those issues to people. We can say what time frame we're going to do them on. We can say, well, we're going to do first these 3 as part 1, so we just have the basic needs covered, and then we'll move on after that to part 2 when we have time. But we have a real roadmap of how we're going to do this. Then this is the same. It's a Kanban. It's just things we need, things we should do someday. Next things, what we're going to do now, what we're doing, what things are being checked by the team. This is a whole process. Basically, the process is we have a giant pile of crap we should do. We've taken some of it, we put it in a smaller pile, like we should do this soon. Then this is the stuff we're currently actually doing. And then when I'm a programmer, I finish a thing, it's done. Then I need everybody else to look at it to make sure I didn't break everything. Once that works, then we need to test it. We go and say, hey, Benjo, can you please try this thing I made carefully? Don't use it with your real clients yet, please. Benjo tests it, it's like, it doesn't work. Shit, okay. We go back, Benjo explains the bugs, we go, we fix the bugs. Great, okay, test it again. We do a whole testing process. If we were doing things really well, we still wouldn't deploy anything. The next thing we do is we write down instructions, not a little GIF on the Telegram channel, hi, thing. But a full documentation of how this is supposed to work. And then when we have the documentation ready, we deploy it to the entire federation, and we explain it to everybody. That would be the full process. Some of that we're doing, some of that we're not doing. And the way we have this organized is we have, like I said before, we had one big issue, right? Like billing thing. Then we'd also have like make the food tech pretty thing, right? Well, we have those, like in what state is each large thing? What does that look like on our side? This is a board in GitHub where we have large things that we're working on. This is a thing about data management and business accounts. The first thing was a thing about the French transporters and how to have the communication working. And they're in progress, or they're done, or there's something we're going to do soon. And again, all of this is on GitHub. If you want, you can go look at it. Maybe not understand it, maybe understand it, but it's there. And this is the documentation page. If you didn't know, we have that. It's docs.coopcycle.org. It's not up to date, and we're slowly trying to make it up to date. But this is a process. And this is the big change in the team from last year, is that now it's not just 1 or 2 people doing things as best they can. We have a process that we more or less do that is created to avoid predictable mistakes and to make sure the thing we built is the thing people needed, because it's the easiest way to waste time. Questions about this? Cool. Really important part of that process is what I call QA co-ops, or beta testers. Nudi is not here, but anyone from Mensakas can attest. Is Ruth here? Remember like 2 months ago when everything was breaking for a lot for like 1 week? It was really annoying. No? That was beta testing. Maybe only the dispatchers noticed. But there was 1 week where like everyone's like, we need the dispatch panel to be better. And we did that. But oh yeah, now you remember. So we all need to say a big thank you to Mensakas for letting us break their platform for a week, get feedback and fixing it, because then the next week it was good. and we could give it to everybody. And before, a year ago, we weren't doing this. We just deploy a thing and hope it worked. And sometimes it broke for everybody. So it's a bit of a sacrifice from the perspective of a cooperative, but it's really important for the larger federation. That someone, a cooperative, a person, takes a new thing and decides to try it out in real life with real clients, record things, explain what went wrong, explain it to Paul, who explains it to Antoine, who's whatever, and then we can fix things quickly. And why I'm going to be really big about this is that we need more of this. We have a number of things that are in this weird state where we made it pretty good, but it's not quite done because we need beta testing. And if no one beta tests it, it'll never be ready for real life. And if it's never ready for real life, why did we do this? So there's a couple large things that we're going to be specifically asking people to help us with. But it's work. It's real work. It takes time, and but without it, we don't really get anywhere. So we're going to go over all of the things we developed last year. Some of this maybe you already know, some of it you don't know, but we want to make sure that everyone is aware of what we've been working on. So step one is, that's Mensaka's, and it loaded in less than 5 minutes. Yay! Basic performance issues. This is the dashboard improvement section. This is actually me on a data plan in Belgium, so it's slower than it would be normally. This is filters. So now we have 2 sets of filters, and one of them is in unassigned. The idea is you have a route. You've made the route, and you want to say, okay, the client for this Bob called me, he has things. What route do I put Bob's stuff in? I only want to see the unassigned tasks of Bob. And I can either see all of Bob's, or I can take away Bob's. We have filters in the map that applies to everything. I want to see Bob's stuff or not Bob's stuff. But it can be assigned to a writer, it can be finished, it can be new, it can be anything. Then we have filters here, specifically so that you can still see all of the other clients, but how do I add to a route that I have here? Right. Ruth is in Mensaka's. Ruth has 20 deliveries of fruit to do. And then, well, we have some of this other client. Well, do I give it to Ruth or do I give it to someone else? So having the 2 different filters is the way you manage creating and modifying routes. Does that make sense? Okay. Polygon selection. Is this GIF of a polygon selection? It looks like it is not of a polygon selection. This GIF shows routes. This shows, so routes, why do they exist? Before, if you had 30 tasks that you gave to Adam, and then Adam had a problem with his bicycle, and you have to give it to someone else. And you spent 10 minutes arranging it in a very specific order to be all perfect. Well, now if I have to give it to someone else, the order would disappear. And you have to redo it. Now, it's in a route that Adam has assigned, and if Adam has a problem, I can just move the whole route to someone else, and it maintains the order, maintains the time, everything is the same. This is really important for people that work with over 30 orders a day. Under 30 orders a day, it probably isn't needed yet. This is the right-click menu, and it's a bit cut off at the bottom, apparently. But we've added a lot of things on the menu when you select tasks. You can now assign the entire order, or you can assign one task of the order. You can reschedule a delivery, you can create an incident, you can do a lot of things. Improved search. Search before just didn't work, like at all. You'd put it like Bob, and it would just, everything would be. Now the search actually works. It's very useful. And when you click on it there, when you click on the map, on the right, it scrolls to where the delivery is on the right hand side, so you can get it. Vehicles and trailers. This is really new. You can now create vehicles and trailers. So your Bullet cargo bike with your BC Lift trailer, and you can say that this bicycle can take 150 liters and 100 kilos of weight, and the trailer this and that. And then you can optimize the route. You press a button, and it will tell you what is the most efficient way to deliver the things you have without overloading the bicycle. That make sense? Yes? Okay. All right. We also made an undo button for the optimization because maybe it didn't optimize the way you wanted to. Where this is going is that we want to have 200 deliveries from DHL. You have 10 riders. And you click optimize, and it routes in the most efficient way possible these packages for those people in the time they're working with the vehicles that they're using. That's where we're going. Payment methods. We now have PayGreen. French people, yay! So, we before only worked with one payment provider. It was Stripe. It is everywhere, but expensive. It's expensive because it's everywhere. PayGreen only works in the EU, but it's cheaper. And it works with all the French ticket restaurants. All of them. So, specifically for France, there's a situation where if I am a businessman and I have my employees and I don't want to pay taxes, I can give you credit for food. And I don't pay taxes on the food. So that's good, I didn't pay taxes. And there's many systems for me to give you 10 euros in food and then you buy it at the restaurant. The problem for us is that like half of the delivery market is the French ticket restaurant system. And so everyone wants to be able to use the free food money. We identified, we did a discovery, design, all these things, and we realized that instead of doing with all of the systems, we could do with two. We could do with Edenred and PayGreen, and then everything is integrated. Right now, we have just finished that Edenred and PayGreen are working on the platform. So if you work in food delivery, you go to the configuration page, and you can activate PayGreen, and then you go to a restaurant and you either activate Stripe or you activate PayGreen. It will be cheaper and ticket restaurants. PayGreen works in all of the EU and it's cheaper, but the free food tax thing is only French. Next thing we're going to do is Mercado Pago, because Latin America uses Mercado Pago. And then after that, we're going to be implementing a new interface that Stripe has that allows things like PayPal. Hello, Germany. The goal is there are 5 million billion payment providers. And what we want to do is offer like 4 or 5 of them, but they're ones that bring together everything. Right? So Stripe has a way to bring together Google Pay, Apple Pay, PayPal, blah, 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 blah. So we're just going to use Stripe for that. But then we have the French ticket restaurant thing. Integrated this and that and that and that. Great. PayGreen. Does that make sense? And this is in the application. Take a second. 2. Credit card, cash on delivery, or Edenred. And here it is in the web. When you click pay electronically, it offers, it took a second because I made the video badly, but in a second, there you go. We have the different integrations with the PayGreen. Next, actually wait, do we have any questions about the payment integrations?
Non, parce qu'on n'a pas compris.
Oh, good, good.
What pay grade? Non, c'est voilà.
Well,
Je sais ce que c'est, mais est-ce qu'on pourra choisir entre stripe ou pay grade? D'accord. Et c'est moins cher pay grade.
Say, can we choose stripe or pay green?
Yes, exactly.
Ah, d'accord.
So
Pay
every
grade et
restaurant,
stripe, ça marche pas.
one
Les
restaurant,
restos,
pay
les
green,
grade.
one restaurant stripe.
Ok.
But you can't have both for one restaurant. All right, local commerce on the web. One of the things that we, as the board of directors, identified is that bike logistics organizations that are stable and outside of the federation need local commerce, and we don't have good local commerce. So we made that a strategic priority. So now we have multi-drop-off orders. So you can, a lot of people will probably need help setting it up. It's still ugly on the back, but we can now have one pickup, one drop-off, one drop-off, one drop-off, one drop-off in one page. Yep. We have more pricing mechanisms. This page still is awful, and I'm so sorry. And I will spend a lot of time this week with everybody making their prices work. I know. I'm sorry. We're working. The next big thing we want to do is make this not suck. The way this happened is we did not do discovery, design, planning, testing, deployment. What we did was you said, I need kilometer. And so we, kilometer. And then you said, I need zones. Okay, zones. I need by percentage if it's raining. Okay, fine. Let's put that there. And we made a giant list of things with no plan. And so right now you can do almost anything with this, but nobody knows how to do any of it. So that's not a bad place to be. We can explain stuff. And one of the priorities for the second half of this year is to make a new interface where you enter, it says food tech, local commerce, click a button, and it helps you, right? But it's important to say that now, like before, a year ago, we could not do kilometer-based pricing for multiple drop-offs. Now we can. It's good. Multiple time slots. This is like kind of small but important. You can have your different time slots and you rearrange them for your clients. Why is this important? It means you can offer either flash delivery, half-day delivery, or full-day delivery, and it's either really expensive or cheap. And you tell me what you want. But you're not going to tell me that you want the cheapest option and it must be dropped off at 3:37 in the afternoon. It is a good business practice that we've all identified, and now we can put it in the platform. This is how we dealt with kilometers with multi-drop-off. So it sounds really easy to do. We want kilometer-based pricing. We want multiple drop-off. No problem, right? Well, it's hard because if we have I'm making an order and I'm a flower shop, and it's a pickup, a drop-off, and a drop-off. If I make them in the order, pick up, drop off, it's 10 kilometers because I have to go back. And if I say pick up, drop off, it's 5 kilometers. And we're charging by kilometer. Asking the florist to know how to optimize routes, not a good plan. So what we decided is that, and we talked to people, we did discovery, we did design, we did planning, we did all these things. So now, if a client makes a multi-drop-off order and has a kilometer-based pricing rule, it will run an optimization algorithm. If it sees that there is a more optimized route, it has a pop-up and it says, there's a more optimized route for this. Would you like to do it? It will save this many kilometers and this much money. And they say yes or no. The client search bar. That's not the client search bar. That's a different thing. The client search bar was in the other GIFs. Is that before, if you remember, there was a Google address search bar. And sometimes if you used it, you could search a client and sometimes a street, and it didn't really work for streets or clients. Now we have a search bar for clients. and a Google Maps search bar, and they're different. And so if you click on the client search bar, you just say client 1, and it puts in all the information. Which means instead of it taking 10 minutes, you just go client 1, boop, client 2, boop, going on. And then this is the page of the deliveries page that either as a dispatcher, you can see everyone, or the flower shop, I can see my flowers. I can see what status each thing is in with an icon. If I enter in the order, it'll tell me what is going on with the order, what has happened to it in the past. This is important because a lot of the time that small cooperatives spend in their work time is phone calls and WhatsApps and stuff that's all about where's my package, is it on time, what's going on, how much do you charge, I forget, blah, 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 blah. This allows you to automate most of those interactions. Oh look, this is the package. All right, on the app, so now we're doing all this on the app as well. We started with the web because mostly the cooperative uses the web, which means it can be ugly, it doesn't matter. As long as it works, it's fine. The app needs to be prettier because the idea is that the florist probably uses their phone. So there's still another few things that are new since this was made. But as you can see, it now has all of the same things. It has, you choose the time range, and then you choose the hour exactly. It has the packages, it has all the things. So it's still a little bit of work in progress, but it's already much better. But you will be able to do on the app in the next coming weeks all the things that you can do in the web. In fact, just to say, one of the challenges CoopCycle has, because we have so many different cooperatives with so many different needs, is that if you want, for example, to add time ranges as a feature for order creation, we need to build that once for Android, Apple, and web. And everything we have to build, we have to do 3 times, which is a lot of work. So just to keep that in mind, sometimes we will make something and we'll start with it in the web and then go to the app, or we'll start with the app and then go to the web, but they're different platforms. So we're recoding everything 2 to 3 times. Oh man, I forgot to put all the, okay. 1 second. Where is that? I should have run through this once before. Okay, so, sorry, 1 second. Yes, French Edifact. So, about a year and a half ago, a local cooperative called us saying that DB Schenker, which is like DHL in France, was happy to do an integration directly with CoopCycle, which means that DB Schenker will just send an Excel every morning and all of the tasks appear on CoopCycle. And then when we receive the package, we deliver the package, or there's a problem, they get all of that information. It took a long time to make this work because you have to be able to communicate with their system, and their system is completely different. Fortunately, there's only one system for France. So right now, other than DHL, one system plus DHL. To make this, so what this means is we can automate and have commercial relationships with last mile providers, if we want, which in Spain is one thing, in France, the prices are better. So it's a better idea. So now, if I am in a cooperative that works with DB Schenker, I open my computer in the morning and I have 200 orders or 50 orders from DB Schenker inside of CoopCycle. What is working right now, and has been working for a few weeks, though we can do some beta testing, is that all of the things I do now with this, the transporter can see it. So, sorry I made these visuals badly, but let's see if, make this one from the front. Now that really, yeah, so we can see kind of a little bit of a barcode here. Sorry. And there's a timeline of everything that's happened to the package, and the transporter has access to it. One thing we needed to develop in order for this to work was incidents. They want to know what's happened to the package. Was the client not at home? Was the package wet? What was going on? So now, when you as a messenger make an incident, if it's one of these clients, the information automatically goes to the provider as well. This is a really complete feature. We have a lot of documentation on it that we need to share now. We have deployed all of this like last week to everybody. So we will share in the chat how incidents, the documentation for incidents and for transporters. But it's a very complete feature. What's most important about incidents, this right now is Antoine creating incidents for a custom service. We do flower shops. We want a series of incidents that only apply to flower shops. We associate the flower shop, and the incident is not enough water or something. The most important thing here for local commerce is if I'm a messenger, I go to the flower shop is supposed to be open, but the flower shop is closed. I say as a messenger, incident, I had to wait 20 minutes. And then someone later, maybe me, maybe someone else, in the desktop, looks at the incidents of the day and says, okay, I know this flower shop, they've already done this twice before. I'm going to charge them 5 extra euros for this delivery because they made us wait. Or we screwed up, we made a problem, I'm going to minus 3 euros and give them a discount. Yes?
So you just apply it directly to the incident, and it does it like in your next.
Exactly. And it's visible for the client, it's visible for the invoicing, it's the whole. So. This page did not work at all. I apologize. This one is the incidents page. I think it's important that we all actually see it. So, swipe to the left. It will be yellow in yours. You pick a reason. And then you confirm the incident. It's important. There are 2 types of incidents. One type is, the customer wasn't home. I still have the package. I took it back to the office. We need to do something with this package. The other type of incident is, it was wet, but I gave it to them. You should know something happened, but the client has the package. All is good. And there's a button in the incident page. You pick one or the other. Food tech improvements. We fixed a lot of bugs. Oh, yep.
Price by incident?
Yes.
For both types of the failed delivery and the incidents, or just the incidents?
For all, yeah.
And it's a fixed price by type of incident?
No. To the first version, this is rescheduling. We have an incident, we're managing the incident, we're rescheduling the delivery because someone wasn't home. We can also cancel, or we can apply a price difference, and we just put 5, or 8, or 10. What we would like to do is have it be based on the way the price is made in CoopCycle. So for example, you can make your price be more or less expensive based on packages. Is it an envelope, a box, or 2 boxes? 1, 3, 10. And if you arrive, instead of a letter, it's 2 boxes, you can automatically change based on the package. Yes? But that's future.
And could we have just the possibility to set a price afterward for the incident? Like we have all our incidents in a special place where you can just treat them at the end of the day or the week and set the price for the incident.
So you want to manage like 20 incidents at the same time and do 5, 7, 2.
Yeah, I think it's most simple.
We have, so there's a page with a list of incidents. Let me talk to programmers before I promise anything. But it doesn't seem super crazy to be able to have a column you can edit with the price difference.
Prices and Like more information to the clients.
If you want to set a preset site, the type of the incident that happens.
No, just set the price free for the incident after what?
Yeah, like later in the day or in the week.
No, but he wants to do it in a list. I've got 20.
Oh,
I don't want to go in each one, come out, go in, come out.
Doing bulk action.
Yeah. Can you just write that down, and then we'll have a little workshop about that later. But yes, that sounds good. Other questions about this? Okay. Food tech improvements. Right. So we fixed many bugs. There's also still many bugs, but we fixed many of them. The web front end UI. This is the UI of the food tech now. If you worked with CoopCycle before, user interface. So one thing is the UX, which is user experience, and that's like what path are we taking, right? Do we want them to use the app or the web version? And where do they start? Sort of like the large design. Then the user interface is it pretty or ugly? Sort of. So we made it prettier, some of it. We did the same thing with the app. I think if I do this, yes. Oh no, yeah, so that's also the web. We have done a lot of work on stuff that you can't see. It's about order process confirmation. What that means. In food tech, there are many, many times when there is some weird problem and nobody knows what it is. The order was supposed to come in, but then it didn't, and then it was on Stripe, but then it wasn't, and someone called me and they said that it was hard, and then it went blank, and we don't know. Random shit. And many of those things were happening because during the order process, something would change. So for example, I ordered hamburger A, B, and C, and then I went and I took a shower. And then I came back to finish my order, and they ran out of hamburger B. But I'm already inside of the order in time to put in my credit card. And CoopCycle was not checking if they still had order hamburger B. So then they paid, and then CoopCycle went. And for every page, if we want to do things well and make sure this doesn't happen, every single page that loads needs to check every characteristic of the order. It needs to check what's in the order, the options of the orders, hamburger medium or rare or Coke or Pepsi. It needs to check the time frame. It said when you started that it would be at 10:20, the delivery. Is that still possible, or now is it 10:40, or did they close? And also, it's not the restaurant can close from the application, or the restaurant can close from the web app over here, or they can close the web app over here. And then the administrators can close a restaurant here, or they can close it in the app, or they can modify the opening hours, or they can, and we need to check every single one of those things to make sure that the order is still valid. You can imagine this is kind of a lot of stuff to check. And it took a long time, but the number of incidents happening in food tech has dropped dramatically. And all the payments in Stripe, all those things, they're going much smoother than they were before.
These things that airplanes normally pages, internet pages does, that is like, you have 15 minutes to do that.
Yeah.
Finish your order, please. Otherwise, you have to restart. Isn't useful?
That. Exactly. We call that the timing modal. And so not only is it checking things like the hamburger is still there, whatever, but the first thing we did, we could do a lot of them. We could say, for example, hamburger B is out of stock. Would you like hamburger Y? We still don't have that yet. But we do have, you were making an order, and it was for today, and now it's been an hour, and it's not for today anymore, it's for tomorrow. Sorry. Do you still want it for tomorrow, or do you want to cancel the order? We have that. So. And we also, I didn't make a GIF of it, but a year ago, if you did anything in dark mode, it just didn't work. Now it does.
Yay!
11:50. Ah, shit. Okay. I'm going to go faster. I am sorry, translators. Auto-accepting feature. Food tech is a series of things. Order comes in, you accept it, you start preparing it, then it's finished, then someone picks it up, and they send it somewhere, and then someone receives the order, or there's a problem. Before, CoopCycle had in CoopCycle that, and that. Nothing else. Now we are moving towards every single thing of those actions is something you can activate for the restaurant to say or not say. So right now, restaurants all have to accept the order, and then we don't know anything, then someone picks up the order. That's good for restaurants that have few orders. You want them to go, yes, I saw it, thank you, good, everything is fine. But for high volume restaurants, they don't want to be accepting. I want to know it's in preparation. So now we have one new version, which is auto accept for high volume restaurants. They don't accept things, the ticket just prints. And then they say it's finished, or it's in preparation, because that's what we didn't know. We're moving towards, in every restaurant, you define what you want to see. And then you have a board where you see the state of all of the things. Does this make sense? So if you have a restaurant doing more than 5 deliveries a night, talk to me about this. If you don't worry about it for now. Those are all the things. Last mile import. Also something that came from Mensakas. Thank you, Ruth and Nudi. Now when you upload an Excel, so before you upload an Excel, and if something was wrong, it just said, fuck off. Error. What error? We don't know. Now, if you upload an Excel, and there's an error, it uploads all the other stuff, and then tells you what the error was, and asks you to fix the error. Yay! Great, that was that. That's the whole thing. It works, it's good. Business analytics. This is a dashboard. This is the work hours of each person in Edaman in May of 2024, so we can do payroll. This is pick up a drop-off comparison. There's a bunch of things. Adam is doing a whole workshop on this. Basically, we've been experimenting on an external platform for 6 months, and the next step is to put it inside of CoopCycle and refine exactly what we want to do. But for example, for things like invoicing, knowing if you're making or losing money, time range, why are my deliveries in the morning different from my deliveries in the evening, and why does that mean I lose money in the evening? All that stuff is this. This, for example, is the Holy Grail. These are the times of day. These are the days of the week. This is my fixed costs. This is how much my hourly cost is. And if I change those to what's going on, it tells me if I made or lost money at 4 p.m. on Tuesday. That's what we want to have inside of CoopCycle automatically as soon as possible. Questions about this? Better change log. So, again, we do stuff, we change things, and then sometimes people don't know about it, and that's bad. So, there's a button over here with a little red circle that probably says like infinite on it, and you clicked it once 2 years ago, and it didn't make any sense, and you haven't clicked on it since. That is the change log. And now if you click on it, it has things you can understand in it. And this means every time we deploy a new version of CoopCycle, this will change. And it will say, version 3 point whatever, in this date, what did we do? We did this, and this. This is what's different. Here's a link to the documentation of what's different. We also have the diffusion channels. So we are now on Telegram, Signal, and WhatsApp. And we say, this is a new thing we did, it's cool. You should check it out. Does everyone know that we have Signal, WhatsApp, and Telegram channels for new features? We will put them on the Discord. I don't know. Those are the main things we did up until like last month, more or less. Any questions about these things? Not yet. All right.
What is CoopCycle Meta?
With an M? With a B.
my app,
Uh-huh.
but there is another one, CoopCycle Meta, and
An Android.
gray.
Yes, so that is when we do testing with just Mensakas or something. Sometimes we can testing on the web platform and then we just give it to you and no one notices. But for the app, it's a lot harder because Google. So we made a specific one that's for testing.
Beta, not
Yeah, yeah.
sorry.
But there's a whole thing on being a beta tester tomorrow. But there's ways to do things on the web. There's actually secret buttons on the app to access special features. Super cool. But some of them you also need a different app. It's very. All right. The next category is stuff we just finished, comma, like, comma, now. And that means like yesterday. We were in a final sprint to get things ready for today. Those are recurrent rules and saved orders. Another thing we know a lot of cooperatives need that are outside of the Federation. I work with a bread shop. And I have these deliveries every Tuesday. You now can have an order that self-creates every Tuesday for the rest of the future. Yay, you're welcome. This also means...
Does it mean you don't have to like click on generate?
Yes! I know! We're maintaining that because there's some orders that I have, for example, where like it's always Tuesday, but they call first, and sometimes yes, sometimes no. But this was an interesting case study. People asked for recurrent rules. Well, they asked for, I want to be able to recreate orders. And so Max went to the dashboard with the map and said, okay, so here you make a thing, recurrent order. But then he didn't put in packages or time slots or weight or any of those things. And so then someone asked for weight. Okay, I put weight. Oh, I need packages. They put packages. And all of a sudden we were recreating the order creation page on the map, which is, why are we doing that? Like, this is super stupid. So we were like, okay, stop. What we're going to do now, we're going to take the existing order creation page with the packages and the weight and all the things, and now you can make a favorite saved list. And you go to that list and you click recreate for tomorrow. Or you say set up for every Tuesday from now until the end of time. So this is the newest of the new. The main problem here is we don't know when to create the future orders. On the one hand, if we say for forever, you want every Tuesday, great, until the end of the heat death of the universe. Every Tuesday, the server blows up, right? On the other hand, if we say 1 week, well, then what, do you have to do it again next week? Or on the other hand, do we do it for 1 year and it keeps going and then you cancel them? We don't know, basically. So what we did for now is when you open a day on the map, it creates everything. So right now, if you make recurrent rules for Fridays, it's not on Friday yet. If you open the page for tomorrow, it goes bloop, Friday. But if you go to a Friday in 2026, it will go bloop, Friday. So it works. It's functional, but we need to figure out how far in the future are we going to be creating these, and we need some beta testers. There's another GIF of the same thing. If you see on the order page, over here now we have add to saved orders and create a recurrent rule. It's under make a manual price. Does everyone know where that is? No? Yes? Okay. I made this GIF again badly. Okay, optimizing vehicles. I kind of talked about it before, but there's a better GIF here, which is right-clicking, making a route name, pressing save. Now we have this route. And this button is the optimization button. And the way the looping is weird. But you see this here? This new icon is the vehicle. You create vehicles, you put to a rider the vehicle they have, and it will optimize based on that vehicle. I already kind of talked about it, but we also just pushed this like literally yesterday. Business accounts. So for the ADEM program, the thing we propose to them is that deliveries are done by bad vehicles like cars, and they're very inefficient. So we want to make them more efficient. And one of the ways we're going to do that is we're going to make a business account. So I have my employees, and maybe I want to make a special deal with the cooperative where I pay them 100 euros a month and my employees get free delivery. But it's a lunchtime order and they're grouping all of the orders together in one delivery. So we need to make them an account that only works with restaurants that are in their zone, has a different pricing rule, it has different conditions because it's a special service to this special client. Yeah? It was a little bit annoying, but we did make it work. If we combine this with the ticket system in France, this is really a really interesting feature. It means you guys in BFast, for example, do food tech. You can go to a local medium-sized business and get them to pay you a monthly fee to do services for their clients, the food delivery. But we realized there's multiple people doing this. So right now, if you want to do general platform food delivery, you're competing with Uber and Deliveroo and Glovo. There's a niche specific service of B2B food tech catering. And there's not a lot of big players in it. And it's pretty profitable. And there are people doing it right now making money off of it. And it's easier to compete with them than with Uber. And we've recreated the ability to do that within our platform. So if you are in France especially, and you want to do lunchtime orders, because in France they have lunchtime orders, talk to us about this feature. Local commerce app, sorry, that's big. And the big one, barcode scanning. I asked Antoine 2 weeks ago, what could we do for the GA? And we have a live demo of barcode scanning. So now you get your DB Schenker, you get your Top Plum, and you can take the CoopCycle app and scan the barcode, and it will assign that to you, and then you scan another barcode, and it assigns it to you. And if you scan it and you see that it's broken, you can say it's broken, it's free, take it back, DHL. So this integrates with the Edifact French last mile thing. Why? Because if BMV is the big one, says, here, I just gave you 200 packages on pallets, they need you to say, I have it, it's all good. Because now legally, I'm responsible if it gets broken. And before that moment, BMV is responsible if it gets broken. So this confirms that we have everything under control and good, and it assigns the package to me. What else does this do? We took advantage of this. We're going to put barcodes on every order in CoopCycle. So now, when you make an order on the page, has on the left-hand side the characteristics, the right-hand side has the map. It says make a manual price. There will also then be a barcode. And people can scan that barcode to act on the order, and a local business can press a print button to print a piece of paper to put in the package with the barcode. And that's the foundation for first mile deliveries. It's the foundation for sending a delivery from Lille to Metz. And that when Metz gets the delivery that came from Lille Cooperative, they scan it and they say, I've got it, and they do the last mile delivery between cooperatives. It's the foundation also for food tech being able to scan things, because I think maybe probably it'll be useful, but we don't know how yet. Barcode notes. So, what are the general new things we want to do in the future? Like I said, first mile capability. That means we want to be able to make a relationship with a local business that prints cool t-shirts. And they need to send the t-shirts to other cities because they have clients that call them from other cities. we can pick up the packages, barcode scan. We have an agreement with DHL to be they send it to the other city instead of the other way around.
And in the other city, some of us deliver.
If we have someone, hopefully, that'd be cool. Pass orders between instances would be part of that. One thing for me is really big. The next large feature is I want at the end of the month, CoopCycle to say, these are your clients that had deliveries. This is how much they each need to be invoiced, the sum of this month. And you click create invoices, and then it creates invoices based on those numbers and sends them to all of the emails of all of the clients. The way we are going to do that is not by building new accounting software. The way we are going to do that is by integrating with existing open source accounting software. In this case, with Odoo, which is a little bit old, a little bit ugly, but it works. And it has a lot of people maintaining it because it's old and it works. So that's good. There's some more modern options that are prettier, but they're not as well maintained because there's less people using it. We need to finish Crops for Life. So all the part besides the logistics, we have to finish all of that. So basically, Aywaille from here on out is going to do that. That's it. The data analytics dashboard, like I said, we have dashboards. We want to put them inside of CoopCycle, not in this experimental place where the Tableau is, and make it pretty everywhere. It's kind of a lot, but we'll see exactly in what time frame we do this. But that's the next round of things.
Sorry, I just have a question about the new features. When I create a task, a recurring task.
Order.
Yes, in order. Yes, it's equivalent to a certain price, but when I create the same order in an instance shop, it calculates a different price, and because it calculates a different route, so another price.
Did you just test it?
It's something that I saw.
Okay. Let's show it back to me later. No. So this is the beta testing we need to do. Right now the idea, let's see if it works, is that you make an order and it calculates the price as 12, and now the price is just 12. If you change the characteristics of the shop, it won't change, it's still 12. 12. Because otherwise every time you create the order, it has to re-query all of the data, and that takes a long time and the dashboard doesn't load. So to make it simple right now, once it calculates the price based on conditions one time at the beginning, and then it just uses that price. So I want to talk more and see if what you find is a bug or if it's something else, but we'll be testing. That's the way it's supposed to work. Other questions? Okay. Right. So the engineers, the programmers asked me to explain a few things. This is what I was saying before. All the stuff we just did, all this is new stuff. It's really cool. It's really fun. Everyone's very excited. I have to beta test it. It's great. Woo! This is from a book that Alex gave me to read when I first started being manager. He's like, ha, learn. When we think about programming, we think about coding. But if we're being generous, that's 1/6 of the time it takes to make something good. You have the planning, which is everything I described, the discovery, the design, the da-da-da-da-da, that's 1/3 of the time. Then you do some coding. Then you test a bunch of stuff and it breaks, then you redo it, then you test it, and it breaks, and you redo it, about 1/4. And then you test the whole thing together. So not just incidents, not just the price change, but last mile transporters stuff altogether. And that's another 1/4, because all the things have to work together well. So what we've been doing is completely prioritizing this stuff for 6 months. And right now, we need to stop doing that. Because we just built a bunch of stuff, and it's fragile, and we need to make sure it doesn't all break. So to give you an example, about 1/2 of the team's work in a normal dev company is maintenance and technical debt and infrastructure. So we have someone hired for 40 hours a week. 20 hours is making sure the servers don't break and that everything's up to date. We had a presentation a couple months ago where Alex showed a list of every software we're dependent on. Because of course we use code from other places, like every technology, it's not one technology. It's like 5 technologies in a jacket with a hat on, right? And all of those things need to be up to date. We have servers that are in multiple countries that are running Debian, which is an open source Linux software. It needs to be updated. And if you don't update it, things start going slowly and then crashing, and everyone remembers last year Friday nights. Boom. So now what we need to do, like everything's fine, but if we don't start updating those things soon, we will have problems. So we just made a bunch of new features, and the next thing that we're going to do is go on that list of softwares and update them one by one. And we did the math, and maybe one of them takes a day and the other one takes 3 days, but if you add them all up, it takes 3 months. So you can do other things while you're updating. You can solve some little bug, but you can't design and build a whole big new feature because you're constantly doing this other thing. So the new features are going to slow down for a while. For most things, we achieved minimal viable product. It works. Maybe it's ugly, but it works. Right? So now we're going to make sure that all the bugs get fixed, that it starts looking more pretty, that the servers don't explode, and then we'll slowly build new things on top of this. Does that make sense? I forget what are the next things. Right, so are there any questions about our next steps? That is the end of the dev stuff. I really do want to say here that we made a bet about 9 months ago where we were going to invest a lot of money and effort and time in the dev sector instead of, for example, trying to do commercial activities or whatever. And it's really hard to find quality, motivated programmers who accept our salary and our working conditions and are experienced and know what they're doing and don't make dumb mistakes all the time. And we had a network of people that were motivated by the project and had already done some coding with us or whatever, who jumped in with 2 feet and even taught, like we had people that I'm managing were like teaching me how to manage. They were like, Paul, we have to do this thing called retrospectives. It's when you like look at a thing that you fucked up and figure out why, and then you implement a thing so it doesn't happen again. I was like, it's a great idea. We should totally do that. Why didn't we think of that? So then we started doing retrospective meetings. But they had to tell me that was a thing that we were doing. So that could have gone really badly. It could have been that we hired 5 horrible people, and none of this happened. And I, in fact, talked with Antoine recently, where he said that a year ago when I told him all the stuff that I thought we should do in a year, he was like, you're an insane person. This is ridiculous. There's no way we're doing that. And the only reason we did it is because the dev team really is putting in a huge amount of effort. And so I want to be clear about that, and like nice messages in Slack towards devs is always appreciated. So now,
There's a question.
oh,
So what, I mean, maybe I have some friends that can help us on this dev, but I don't know what to ask my friends. What do I have to ask? What do we need? Data analyst.
oh God, right now anything. Like we have a giant. So remember I said there's a giant pile of shit. Right. So we took a smaller pile of things we're going to prioritize now. We also made this other little pile over here, which is stuff that's easy for people to fix, even if they don't know CoopCycle.
Program speak to us in a comprehensive
Literally anything, like front end, back end, PHP, JavaScript, draw things pretty nice. Like we have a huge stack of stuff.
Can we maybe make a list of what we need so I can read the list and say, oh, friends, Angelo, come with us.
Yes.
Look.
Yes. So right now we've started some things. We're going to do a lot of that cleanup and organizing after the GA, but we already have a tag in GitHub for issues that is help wanted high priority. And those are only things that are easy for people to access and that anyone could take a look at. So one example, that is important because, for example, we onboarded people really cheaply. We basically didn't onboard them because Vladimir, the Canadian programmer, had been doing GitHub issues on CoopCycle for like 4 years. And so he already knew the culture, he already knew a little bit about what we needed, and he knew where to look in the code for stuff. And so basically like, hi Vladimir, just do this. And he was like, okay, I'm good to go. But normally that's not what happens. Normally it takes like 2 months for someone to get their feet under them and then maybe start doing stuff. And so if we want, right now we've maybe run out of the people that are good quality programmers, motivated, don't need a lot of money, and know stuff about CoopCycle. We still have a couple in the back pocket, but not that many. So one thing we want to do in the next year is that, make it really easy to be accessible. You open the GitHub, you see what you can help with, you see exactly how to launch things. And there's a lot of work to set up that system. Yeah. So and it both helps with volunteers, but it also means long term we will save a bunch of time because onboarding will take 2 weeks instead of 6 months. So, any other questions? Cool. All right, then we're going to step back from dev because everyone, we put it in like board stuff and then dev stuff, and then I made a presentation and I ruined it all. What I want to end with is going back to the statutes and the decisions and the norms and the things. As Albin said, we made some big frameworks, and now we need to make some decisions. As you've seen, there are debates happening these days. I have a screenshot of some of them, but for example, this is the wrong screenshot. One of them's right. So, for example, we're going to formally create the SCIC. Finally. What is the minimum social capital we want from cooperatives? Is it 50 euros to make it accessible to people even if they have no money, but they're really cool and good people? Or is it 1,000 euros because we really need to finance stuff? And so this is a financing mechanism, so we need finance and we want strong projects that are capable of contributing and putting some skin in the game. I don't know. We need to decide that together. We've decided that we need social contribution at this point in time. How much is a detail? We don't know. Another example is we've made a funnel system where you start with the minimum yearly payment, it's very low, and then you start paying per task after 1 year. We made the prices based on Northern European economic model. That is debatably not even usable in northern Spain, and it's definitely not usable in Colombia, and we haven't made any decisions, we haven't talked about it. We need to find a way to take into account regional differences in purchase power parity in regards to the pricing. At least, and then also, for example, in Mexico, we found some programmers. So maybe they can pay those programmers instead of paying CoopCycle. That sounds great. Do we require that to also happen in Colombia or not? Or how do we deal with all of that stuff? So there's a lot of these details, and we need to decide all of them by Saturday evening, because then we have to give them to a lawyer who writes them on a fancy piece of paper and puts a stamp on it, and then we sign it, and then we have a stick. And if we don't do that, we don't have a stick, which is the cooperative of cooperatives.
Skip.
Skip. What's, yeah, I don't even know what that stands for. It's all in French. It's a skip. And that's it. I put the schedule at the end just to go over it before everyone leaves to have it fresh in their head. Today, we are going to have lunch. I'm going to stop talking, and then we're going to have one series of workshops from 2 to 3:30. We have a debate about the contribution system and the geographic regions and everything I just said. We'll have a workshop about how to do commercial capture well for business to business. Then we will have, at the same time, Paul Belmet, a presentation of design as a process. So what I did at the beginning, but better. Then at 4 o'clock, we have the second debate, which is commercial payment for the Federation. What does this mean? It means we decided that we have a lot of cooperatives in France, and France pays good money for bike logistics. That's great for you French people. Congratulations. What if we did some work to share clients between the cooperatives? We did a test run. Albin did a little bit of work to try to do that, and it was quite successful. But we don't know how we're going to pay for this. So we need to figure out, are French cooperatives going to pay this with a percentage, or is it a flat fee, or is it a grant, or what is it? We don't know. We have to figure it out. I saw a hand.
Yeah, sorry, finish the schedule because it's about schedule, right?
Got it, okay. The second one is about, it's a workshop, how to apply for grants. I believe that's Remy. And he will tell you how you systematically apply for grants, where you look for them, what you have to do, what you should expect, what common problems are. And we have a dev workshop here in a small group of anyone who wants to be a beta tester. If you want me to break your stuff and then your stuff is better 2 weeks later, that's the talk for you. And we do really need this. When we always talk about like what we need from cooperatives in terms of time and resources and expectations, right now, this is the thing. Maybe in 2 years we have amazing technology and it's other stuff, but right now it's this. At 6 o'clock, we have an alley cat and a talk. The talk is given by Dorletta. Dorletta works with Mondragon cooperative cooperation thing, whatever. In Basque Country, there is a giant cooperative that they started in 1944 and now has like over 80,000 members. And it's really different from CoopCycle in a lot of ways. And it's very interesting. We wanted to have just outside perspectives about stuff. So Dorletta is going to just give a talk about like, what is Mondragon, how did it get created, what are some problems it found in its history, how's it going now, some things are good, some things are bad, blah, blah, blah. So either you can have a talk about cooperativist history in Basque Country, or you can ride a bicycle. You choose. Then we have it in the evening. This is like a beer outside of the dinner place in a circle with a fire and someone playing guitar type event. But like the idea is to talk about things that happened to a cooperative that were good, things that happened that were bad, and share experiences about how to do more of these and less of these. Friday, tomorrow, 9 o'clock, the debate is Gender Perspective Manifesto, though it appears that maybe we just changed that, so we put a little asterisk there based on whatever they just did. Workshop 3 is bulk purchases. Do we want to do bulk purchases? And if we do, how do we finance it? Who does it go to? How does it work? We don't know. Dev workshop from Adam about the data analytics. So he'll present all the different dashboards we made. He'll decide how to focus the work. What do we want to do now, not experimenting, but for real. Second set of events, debate public relations, marketing and PR department. So a little bit of this is some good ideas for how to do marketing for your cooperative. But the main thing is, what does CoopCycle want to do? There is one written proposal from the board about a marketing department that would train cooperatives in how to have good marketing, and then would ask cooperatives to participate in the public relations of CoopCycle. We have to figure out, do more of that, do less, is it finance, grants, whatever, how, all that stuff. Dev workshop, this one and this one have been put together and made really big. But there's a workshop about dispatch in the phone and on the web. And it'll be run by Aywaille, who is no longer here. Third group of things, workshop is marketing. So this is very specifically like how to do marketing. Someone will teach you how marketing works. Workshop about food tech. So this is anyone who's not doing food delivery and wants to do food delivery. Audi and I think Bonide, maybe? Or I don't know, maybe not. Some people from Edelman are going to give a talk about how to do food tech. And so that involves human resources, it involves marketing, it involves dealing with restaurants, it involves a whole series of stuff. If you want to do food tech, that's for you. Last one. Sorry, we're almost done. Last one, a workshop on last mile food tech and progress. So this is specifically for people that do work with DB Schenker, BMV, all these people. We now have technology that can make your life easier. It's a bit complicated because it's really big. So Antoine will be showing how it was created and getting some feedback on how to keep making it better. Second workshop is bio-waste and medical clients. So we've identified there's a number of cooperatives that have very high profit activity where they do urgent deliveries of blood, medical waste, all these types of things for hospitals. We've had a hard time doing that in my city because it's controlled by these people and whatever. So they're giving a talk on how they got that business, how they maintain it, how to do it also for you. Dev workshop, B2B client management. Right now we don't have a lot of it. So, people who work very professionally with local commerce businesses, we need you to come here, and we're going to do a design and discovery process about what do we want to do with CoopCycle. The barcodes, the things, the emails, do they get notified by an email, do they get a phone call, what, I don't know. We have to think about it. And then, I don't think this is happening because I kept asking them if they were coming and they didn't answer me. So I'm pretty sure that they're not going to show up. But Open Food Network is the open source agricultural sales platform, and it appears their Belgian branch is very busy in July. Cultural event, Simon Coton. This is a person who's French and wrote a book called How to Work Without a Boss. I have not read the book. Someone else did. They said it was good.
There is an English version?
I don't know. Well, he has to present in English. The book, I don't know. But the presentation will be in English. Even if Simon doesn't know that. It's a good question. Saturday. So all of those debates will have clear propositions that will be put in the Discord channel. You don't have to go to the debate, but you should probably read the proposition about contribution if you're interested in how much we will contribute to CoopCycle. So what we are hoping is that for Saturday morning, we'll have 20 propositions, and 15 of them, it's very clear that everyone's more or less agrees. Because everyone in Discord went, yay, this is awesome, I love you, hearts. And the idea is, here, we'll present all of those, and the 15 that just everyone's happy with, great, we vote, it goes forward, done. But there will probably be at least one or multiple propositions that there's some debate. That they think one thing, they think another thing. This is normal. That space then is to understand what people's concerns and differences of opinion are. We break into working groups. People who have those different opinions will come together to try to remake the proposition into something that everyone can agree on. They'll present it, and we will vote on those propositions. And they will either pass or they won't. This is really important. We only do this once a year. If it doesn't pass, it doesn't pass. We're not going to be here at 11 p.m. talking about something for 10 hours. Checkup, redefinement, voting. Then we drink beer. Then, last thing so you all know, the board of directors will still be here on Sunday. On Sunday morning, there's breakfast, and bye-bye. And the board members and anyone else who wants to be super motivated can stay on Sunday because we need to organize the work. Every decision we make will have a bunch of consequences of stuff we have to do, and we need to organize that work. We're going to do PR by having every cooperative talk to their local media. We need a list of all the cooperatives, who's that person, what languages they speak, what's the blah, blah, blah. We need to organize all that stuff on Sunday. So, on Sunday, eat breakfast and go away unless you want to help with Excels. And that's everything. Yes?
Okay, I just... if we're trying to give space and room in CoopCycle to the gender stuff and gender topics, we cannot schedule it at lunchtime. We need to schedule the normal one.
I
To have lunch as everyone else, and we need to rest as everyone else.
I agree with you completely. I wasn't part of that decision-making process. That's why I'm also not sure what's going on with. We do have a thing on the calendar, so I'm not sure how that's working with the lunch thing.
This is Friday, Thursday.
Yeah. I was saying there was a thing, and now there's another thing, and I don't really have a good answer for you, but I agree with you. No, they're talking about stuff, the board stuff. So,
Can you pass backward? Okay, Thursday, 14, 3. No, we have many parallel stuff.
Yeah.
You have to choose one. I have to choose one. You have to choose one. I didn't even read there. I know what is written down there.
where?
Debate.
Forgive.
Yeah, this is 4 to 5:30. Sorry, it's the bad wall.
So it can be 14 to.
Sure. I'm happy to put that on the schedule. I'm also not the one running the schedule though.
So let's go ahead with Aywaille and Nuri, and we put it on the schedule that is on Discord, so everyone can have it.
So you know, the person who's been changing the Discord and knows how to do that is Judon. And as far as I'm concerned, you guys have full authority to change the schedule as much as you want. Go for it. Any other questions?